I can feel the smooth silk of my blouse against my skin as I sip my coffee, the city skyline reflecting on the glass wall before me. The hum of morning traffic drifts faintly through the open window, but it doesn't reach me. Not really. Not while my phone vibrates insistently on the marble countertop. I glance at the screen, and my stomach twists. It's her. "Hey, wanted to see your new place," the message reads. I stare at it, a mixture of irritation and quiet amusement bubbling up. Laura, my sister, who spent years mocking my tiny apartment, laughing at the peeling paint and the scratched floors. Back then, I had nothing. Now, I have everything she can't even imagine. I let the phone buzz again while I set the coffee down. My reflection in the window catches me. Poised, polished, confident. But beneath the surface, a storm of old hurt and suppressed pride simmers. Every mocking comment she ever made plays like a faint echo in my mind. I take a deep breath and trace my fingers along the smooth edge of my desk. My apartment, my sanctuary, humble to the outside eye, but mine. Everything I've built alone, step by step. And yet, the thought of seeing her reaction, the thought of finally confronting all those years of belittlement, sends a thrill I can't deny. I swipe open a new message and type carefully, deliberately, aware that this moment will change everything between us. I remember the day like it was yesterday, even though it was 10 years ago. I was 22, fresh out of college, full of hope but broke as a joke. Laura had come over to my tiny apartment for a quick visit. Her eyes swept the room with that smug, half-smile she always wore, the one that made you feel like nothing you had was ever enough. "You live here? Wow, it's cozy," she said, pausing for dramatic effect. "I mean, I guess it works if you don't care about style or, standards." I felt my cheeks burn, a lump forming in my throat. My hands shook slightly as I poured her a cup of coffee, pretending everything was fine. Inside, I was furious, humiliated, and painfully aware of how small my world looked to her. I sank onto the worn couch later that night, clutching a small silver locket my grandmother had given me years earlier. "Remember, Anna," Grandma had whispered when she handed it to me, "wealth isn't always about money. Some of the richest people I know started with nothing but heart and courage. Guard that, and the world will notice you one day." Her words felt like a warm light in the darkness. That night, I made a promise to myself. I would never let anyone's mockery define my worth. I would build my life on my terms, quietly, without showing off, until I could stand tall in a world that had underestimated me. The sting of Laura's words didn't fade, it fueled me. Every rejection, every dismissive glance, became a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. I started freelancing, taking odd jobs, learning new skills. Every small success was mine alone, and I protected it fiercely, knowing that someday, the tables would turn. I closed my eyes and whispered into the dark apartment. "Just wait. You'll see." After that night, I threw myself into building a life no one, especially Laura, could mock. I started small, freelance design projects from my cramped apartment. I remember hunched over my laptop for hours, my back stiff, my eyes burning, the hum of the old ceiling fan above me keeping me company. Each completed project, each client's praise, was like a tiny victory, a quiet affirmation that I was moving in the right direction. Then came Thomas, a seasoned entrepreneur I met at a networking event. He had this rare ability to see potential where others saw mediocrity. "Anna," he said one evening over coffee, "you have talent, but more importantly, you have grit. Don't waste it hiding." His mentorship became a lifeline. He guided me, pushed me, and encouraged me to dream bigger than I dared to imagine. The early days weren't glamorous. I worked late into the night, sometimes surviving on little more than leftover pizza and black coffee. Doubts whispered constantly. What if I fail? What if they're right? That I'll never make it? But then I glanced at the locket Grandma had given me, and it reminded me why I started. The first big client changed everything. A small boutique hotel needed a full branding redesign. I poured myself into it, leaving no detail untouched. When they called back, ecstatic with the results, I felt a rush of validation unlike anything before. It was more than money. It was proof that I could stand on my own. I slowly began accumulating wealth, buying modest things that no one would notice. I never flaunted it. Instagram photos were vague, social posts neutral. Laura had no idea how far I'd come. I cherished that quiet victory. My apartment transformed over time, subtle improvements that reflected taste and comfort rather than showiness. Soft rugs, warm lighting, a small gallery wall of my favorite art pieces. Yet even as I succeeded, I kept my distance from family interactions. The fear of their judgment lingered, tempered by a sense of self-preservation. Every email, every call, every visit was filtered through the lens of control. I would reveal nothing until the moment was right. And deep down, I knew that day, the day they'd finally see me as I truly was coming. And when it did, it would be undeniable. It was a crisp Saturday afternoon when Laura finally showed up at my apartment. She had invited herself, of course, under the pretense of a casual brunch. I had let her in, smiling politely, my heart steady, but my mind sharp. She expected the same cramped, humble space she had mocked years ago. She had no idea what was waiting. The door swung open, and she stepped inside. Her eyes widened immediately, taking in the space. Polished hardwood floors, warm natural light streaming through expansive windows, a carefully curated gallery wall, and the soft aroma of freshly brewed coffee. My furniture wasn't flashy, but every piece spoke of elegance, comfort, and thoughtfulness. She stepped further in, her mouth opening slightly, then closing again. Wow, this place," she stammered. I gestured toward the living room with a serene smile. "Make yourself comfortable," I said softly, letting the silence stretch. Her gaze lingered on the small details, the hand-picked artwork, the plush velvet sofa, the subtle gold accents that tied everything together. The realization slowly began to dawn. This wasn't the struggling version of me she remembered. We sat across from each other, coffee cups in hand. I let her take in my calm, collected demeanor, my poised confidence. I let her feel the weight of my presence before speaking. "You remember how you used to mock my apartment?" I asked gently. Her eyes flickered, shame barely masked by irritation. "You said it was tiny, cheap, unimpressive. You thought I'd never make it." Her throat tightened, and she looked away. "Well," I continued, "I made it. Every step was mine. Every success earned quietly, without anyone noticing. And just recently, I bought a little property, one that happens to be yours." Her coffee cup rattled in her hands. "What do you mean mine?" she whispered. I smiled, calm and unapologetic. "I bought your house, Laura. In cash." The words hung in the air, thick and heavy. Her face went pale. She stumbled over questions, disbelief in every syllable. "You what? How, why?" "I wanted you to see the difference," I said softly. "Not just that I succeeded, but that I did it on my terms with my own strength, my own perseverance. And yes, now I own what you once called insignificant." She couldn't speak. I could see the shame and astonishment warring across her face. The tables had turned. The years of belittlement, the mocking, the snide comments, they were gone now, replaced by the undeniable proof of my independence. And for the first time, I felt the quiet satisfaction of watching her realize she had underestimated me. The room was thick with tension, yet I remained calm. Laura sat across from me, her hands fidgeting with a coffee cup I had refilled for her without a word. This was the moment where the balance of power had shifted, completely. For years, she had wielded mockery like a weapon, dismissing my efforts and belittling my dreams. Now, the tables were turned, and I had a choice, to crush her completely or to guide her toward growth. "I'm not here to humiliate you," I began, keeping my voice even but firm. "But things have to change. If our relationship is going to survive, certain boundaries and responsibilities must be respected." Her eyes widened, uncertain. "First," I said, "you must acknowledge the impact your words had on me. No more dismissals, no more comparisons." We're adults now, and respect is non-negotiable. I watched her nod slowly, a mixture of guilt and relief washing over her face. Second, I continued, I'm happy to support you, but only if you pursue something meaningful for yourself. No shortcuts, no entitlement. You've relied too long on comfort without effort. It's time you invest in your own growth. She bit her lip, hesitant, and I allowed the silence to sink in. Third, I added, to rebuild trust, you need to drop toxic habits, gossip, judgment, and manipulation. They've hurt me, and they'll hold you back from genuine happiness if left unchecked. Finally, I leaned back, letting my gaze meet hers fully. I'll help, but only under these conditions. I want to see real change, not just empty apologies. If you meet them, our relationship can be stronger than ever. If not, I paused, letting the threat hang unspoken. The ownership of her house was symbolic, proof that my success wasn't fleeting. I wasn't just warning her. I was showing her what accountability looks like. She exhaled, almost trembling. I understand, she said softly. I nodded, offering a small, measured smile. Good. This isn't about revenge, Laura. It's about growth for both of us. I want you to succeed, but I will not allow the past to repeat itself. And neither should you. For the first time, she looked at me not with mockery or envy, but with recognition that I had earned my place in this world, and that the same rules would apply if she wanted to stand beside me, not below me. I felt the weight of years of struggle lift slightly. Control was mine now, not in anger, but in the clarity of my expectations, my boundaries, and my own strength. Imperfections, but she kept going. Every time I saw her make progress, I felt a quiet sense of pride. Not the pride of superiority, but the pride of knowing she had the chance to grow because boundaries and accountability had been set. I also reflected on myself. How far I'd come from that young woman clutching my grandmother's silver locket in a cramped, peeling apartment. The late nights, the relentless work, the self-doubt, they had all built something far greater than wealth: resilience, independence, and self-respect. That locket, once a simple family keepsake, now symbolized more than hope. It was a reminder that perseverance and courage can transform a life completely. My apartment, once humble and almost embarrassing in Laura's eyes, had become a sanctuary of accomplishment. Every corner, every detail reflected the journey I had undertaken alone, the small victories stitched together into a life that no one could take away. One evening, Laura came over again, this time with genuine warmth. She hugged me, tears in her eyes, and whispered, "Thank you for believing in me enough to push me." And I realized then that my success was not just about money or ownership, it was about teaching strength, both to myself and to others who mattered. I poured myself a cup of coffee and glanced at the window. The city lights shimmered, reflecting off the glass like tiny sparks of possibility. I felt the quiet satisfaction of closure, of transformation. The hurt had faded. The triumph was quiet, steady, and deeply satisfying. I held the silver locket in my hand one last time, pressing it to my chest. "We've both grown," I whispered. And then I smiled, a full, unrestrained smile, knowing that my journey, hard-won, courageous, and utterly my own, had led me here. I am enough. I am strong. I am unstoppable.